Everyone thinks ranking up in Overwatch is as simple as winning games, so I spent weeks tracking my next 200 competitive matches in a row to see if that was actually the truth. The results are not what I expected at all. I finished with 99 wins, 98 losses, and 3 draws, with a net loss of minus 41% of my rank. So how does something like this even happen? This is where it gets interesting. This is my chart of the results of my last 200 matches. For consistency purposes, I found it safe to assume that a win or a loss is 25% each way, with the modifiers either progressing or regressing an additional 3%. If you don't know what the modifiers mean, I'll put them on screen now. I did not experience any wide winning trend, losing trend, pressure, calibration, or new/rework map in any of my matches. Lever compensation only appeared once, but it didn't say very much anyway. Before I get into all the numbers, I want to make sure that everyone knows that all these games took place in Masters and above. None of my games were played on the tank role, only for damage and support, because I don't play tank. You might also notice in the top right of the screen a Fair Matches tab, which I will get into later in the video. So to answer the question of how did I win more games than I lost but ended up losing rank progress, we have to look at one of the most astonishing parts of the matchmaker, the modifiers. If we look at the pie chart here, modifiers appeared in 65% of my matches, with 38% of them taking away from my ranked progress in expecteds and reversals. 27% of my games had friendly modifiers in consolidation and uphill battle. If you look back towards the top of the screen, you'll see that I lost over 200% of rank to negative modifiers. But to be fair, on the bright side, I did get saves 159% of rank, which overall actually doesn't seem too bad considering over 200 games, the modifiers only impacted 66% of my rank. Granted, it was the wrong way, but could very easily be swung the other way given different circumstances. What's more mind-boggling to me, and this isn't something that's quantifiable by any type of number or statistic, is that sometimes reversal games feel like you didn't have a chance to win in the first place. And uphill battles sometimes feel like they should be expected, and vice versa. So what's really going on here with the matchmaker? Is this all a part of their forced 50-50? Or is it a part of an even bigger match manipulation scheme put together by the algorithm of Overwatch's ranked system? But here's where my data gets really interesting and could potentially have an answer. Here are more data points that I collected while I was tracking my matches. I tracked of when my allies and my enemies had a negative kill-death ratio, so long as the player isn't playing on a support hero. Before I continue explaining this, it's important to know that for ally and enemy negative kill-death ratio, that is only if there was one player on the team that was like that. So for example, if my tank and damage were both negative kill-death ratios, same with the enemy team, it would only count once because this is a per game basis and not per player basis. The next thing I kept track of was confirmed xims. For those of you who don't know, a xim is a device that is used by players to cheat on console Overwatch by using a mouse and keyboard, essentially giving mouse and keyboard players aimbot almost while playing against people on controller with ordinary aim assist. Now for anyone who plays in the high ranks of Overwatch console often, you're probably thinking that only 3 confirmed xims or cheaters is a blessing. But for the sake of accuracy, these are only players that I could confirm that were cheating, either by getting a message a few days later that action has been taken against the player that I reported, or from the player straight up admitting to it in the match chat. The next data point I tracked was allied and enemy leaver and griefers. A leaver is somebody that leaves the match after the grace period that would make the match shut down if they leave too early. A griefer is somebody who refuses to play the game but stays in the match. A griefer is not someone who just played stinky. That's what the negative KD categories are for. A griefer is someone who did not want to participate in normal gameplay. And the last thing I kept track of was when I was negative myself on a non-support role. This does not include matches where we get steamrolled and the entire team is negative. These are matches where I may have been the only negative player, matches that I feel responsible for myself, given that even LeBron James has a bad game once in a while. Below that, you'll see the tag categories. An extreme difficulty game are games that were exceedingly hard to win. These are games where an ally has a negative kill-death ratio, or I was up against a confirmed cheater. An easy game is where an enemy had a negative kill-death ratio, or the enemy had a leaver or a griefer. An unwinnable game is a match where I had an allied leaver or a griefer. And of course, the self-inflicted is my fault. Now, if I zoom into the pie chart here, you'll notice that 150 of my matches were fair games, or 75%, which, to be honest, I'm pretty impressed with. But the true problem with the ranked system is in the other 25% of the game. If we assume I lost every extreme difficulty game and every unwinnable game and won all of my easy games, my net progress from these games is minus 450%. That is without any modifiers impacting these matches. But that is also nearly a whole division of rank. But again, this is just assuming that I lost all of those matches that I was supposed to lose, which that statistically wouldn't make sense because I've won some of those matches and it reflects in the total progress. Some of you right now may be wondering, well, what about rank reclaim? It gives you your rank back when you have lost against a cheater. Well, I only had one game of rank reclaim, and between that and leaver compensation, it was still not enough to swing my minus 41% result over into the positives. At best, it would be close to a break even. So why did I take the time to do all this? Well, because I was a champion support at one point, and over time my rank was slowly deteriorating, which didn't make sense. I'm not getting progressively worse, am I? I felt I was winning games at a pretty even split, which, to be honest, I was. Even with my disproportionate amount of bad teammates among griefers that typically end up on my team, according to my data. So what am I trying to prove here? What's the big takeaway from all of this data that I've tracked? Is your rank an accurate display of your skill? Are pure wins and losses in a rank system the best way to calculate a player's skill level? Personally, I don't think so. I've seen absolute demons in Diamond and absolute dumpers in Grandmaster. But again, that's not based on data, that's based on personal experience. So I'm gonna leave it up to you to decide. I know that no system is perfect, but I find it really hard to believe that what we have now is the best that Overwatch can do. Especially when I lose the same amount of rank that a negative tank on my team is responsible for. Or my Genji that is 10 and 28 gains the same amount of rank because of my excellent play. I would encourage everyone to try this experiment for yourself. I'd be very much interested to see your results. But anyway, let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. If you want to see more of me, I'll leave a link to my channels in the description. Now like and subscribe or else you're gonna get this guy on your team.